All right, talk about really living by the words you just said. So, funny enough, this is my second time recording this video. I had a good intro and everything else, but unfortunately, I didn't press the record button. So, I think that's a good thing, right? Because now it's like, hey, live by the words you just said and, kind of do the thing. So, just a heads up, this video is a part of my journey, a part of my training, if you will, and getting comfortable talking to and in front of a camera. It's really awkward if you haven't tried it yet to just talk to three dots and imagine that there's a face. But the iPhone design system or the iPhone design is pretty easy. It just looks like a guy with big eyes and a mouth open. Uh, this video is more of a rant, right? More of me just sharing my thoughts. There's no technical, nothing technical about this video. There's no data, no AI, none of that. I plan to release other videos about that, and I'll for sure be behind the camera when I do drop those. But this one is more so about an early morning thought. So as I was engaging in a ritual that most Americans do this time of year, which is called exercise, I had this really early thought about success and why and how are some individuals more successful than others. Now, before anyone gets, in the comment section or feels some type of way or offended, I'm not here to say success is X, right? I'm not saying that success is only measured in financial or title or prestige. Success for you can be spending more time with your kids or, getting through that college course. Whatever you define success is, it is a thing you are trying to achieve that you currently do not have, right? I feel like that's a good universal definition. And whatever you want to insert there, that's what I found myself thinking about is what does it mean to be successful and how do some achieve it while others don't? And as I'm thinking about this, I was thinking about some of the friends and the mentors that I have and how they are successful. And don't get me wrong, they are brilliant. They're pretty smart people, but I don't know if they are more capable, right? I'm not really sure or certain that they are more capable than any other person that you may meet. And yet I will say that they've reached or at least achieved some version of the success they've defined for themselves. So as I'm thinking about this, I of course like to, I love the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. I try to reduce everything in my world. Can I fit this into some type of bucket, some type of box? And I came up with something, I think, at least two boxes initially. The first box is those individuals who want success but don't necessarily get it. And I want to talk about some of the characteristics with those individuals. And then the second box are the individuals who actually achieve that success. And I'm pretty sure this is more of a spectrum and it can be refined and maybe there is something here, maybe there isn't. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest with you. This isn't my field or space, but I needed to make a recording. So, hey, here we are. In that first box, right? The individual who hasn't achieved their version of success. There's three types I think exist there, right? So the first type is the person who fails to follow through. And this individual is typically, curious, right? But they're also cautious. It is the individual who will say, hey, I'm going to build this thing, or this idea is phenomenal, or here's this technology that's going on. But then right before following through and executing on it, they're saying, well, maybe I don't have the time to invest in it, or what if it doesn't work out, or, what if I invest all this time or money, or, it just isn't for me. And they typically look at things very quickly from the negative lens, right? And never really ask themselves, well, what does it mean if it does work out? And I'm gonna be completely honest, I've suffered from this before, right? I will get all the way up into the 90% completion of an app or some type of data project, and then justify in my head, well, the big guys are going to kill me on this, big guys being your Googles, your Amazons, etc. There's no way this is going to be successful. And in those instances, I had the curiosity, but I also had the caution, all right, right? So I failed to follow through. The second type that I think is interesting in the sense that I don't know if I can call them a failure of success, and that sounds so harsh, so I'm pretty sure there's a better way to say it. But the second type, I don't necessarily know if they're a failure of success, but nonetheless is one of these categories. And that's the individual who is cautious and content. The individual who's cautious and content doesn't necessarily have the drive to push beyond where they're currently at. And even if they did, they would be too cautious to move forward. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so even if they did have the ability, to kind of identify something, the caution again will kind of cause them to pull back and say, you know what, I'm happy where I'm at today, right? This is, I have a friend who we may refer to this, or he has this idea of golden handcuffs. Is you're in that job, everything's fine, you're able to pay your bill. If financial success is your goal, you're able to pay your bills, you can take care of your household, and there's nothing wrong with these things. But what that does is it makes you content. You're satisfied with where you're at, even if you have goals that probably aren't being realized today. Now, the third type is kind of the almost the bridge, right? And I think we all know a person who's like this, but this type is almost on the verge of success, but because they actually can't focus, can't lock in, they kind of hold themselves back. And it's an individual who has both ambition and curiosity, right? So they're curious enough to dabble and get their hands in multiple things and multiple pies. They're doing this startup this day while also working this side gig, and they're also trading on the forex exchange. Or don't trade on forex, please don't. That was a horrible example, not advocating for that whatsoever. But they find themselves in a lot of different things is the point that I'm getting at. So you have that curiosity, and then you have that ambition that allows them to execute on it. But then you take a step back and you look and you say, well, have you achieved the thing you wanted to achieve? And most of the time, these individuals may say, oh, super close, or this thing feeds into this thing, which feeds into this thing. And I don't think that they're necessarily wrong. In fact, most people who are at, let's look at your career or your financial success level, most of those individuals have multiple things going on. So I don't think it is the curiosity. I don't think it's the ambition that's the problem. I think these individuals are missing one thing, which is target, right? So when you combine ambition, curiosity, and you also add a target, that's the winning formula, at least in my head, early on, right now at least. That's the winning formula for success, right? And what does that look like? I am ambitious enough to go after the thing that I want. I am curious enough to explore and see what's out there for me and stretch beyond the box that I'm in. And I have a target. I am doing X so that Y can take place. The reason I am engaging in this is so that Y becomes a reality. When you add that target component and really believe it and lock in, those are some of the individuals that have had the most success I've ever seen, right? And curiosity doesn't mean that you have to be in multiple things or multiple places. It just simply means that you have an idea that is potentially something outside of your norm, outside of your day to day, and that you are curious enough to explore it. And then that ambition allows you to act on it. And then the target keeps you driven, keeps you focused. And I love this ambition, curiosity, and target because it makes a really cool word, act. And in a lot of my friend groups and mentor groups, we have this thing of, just go do it, right? We say we're going to do it, go do it, activate on it, act on it, right? And act for me, is for sure going to be the word of the year. And the reason this intro was so funny is because now I have to live by that. Just this instance is I could have easily just stopped and say, you know what, nah, I'm not curious enough about this content creation, this brand building stuff. I can just go ahead and be content with what I had going on. This is a perfect sign. I could have lost the target of that. I could have regressed to a failed state, right? A lack of success. But I kind of pushed through that. So Yeah, early on, this for sure is just a ramble. I don't even know if I'm going to add music behind this or anything else. Just throw it out there, see how comfortable I can get over time with these recordings. But this idea of ambition, curiosity, and target to act, I think is a really powerful idea. And if you've heard something different, or if you're using a different mindset or methodology to achieve the success in your life, whatever that success looks like, I would for sure love to hear about it. But if you dropped it early in the video, you probably won't make it to this part. But if you actually stay through, hey, let's talk about what success looks like with each other. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Again, it's more of an exercise for me to get comfortable. So I appreciate the time that you stuck around to listen to me ramble. Thanks.